Trouble starting your engine? The problem just might revolve around the starter pulley. The starter pulley serves several functions. The starter rope wraps around the pulley. The starter spring attaches to the pulley and retracts the rope after it is pulled. The pulley engages with the flywheel when the rope is pulled in order to start the engine. Over time, the pulley will wear. Common issues are failure of the pulley where the starter spring attaches and wear to the pulley where it contacts the flywheel, causing it to no longer engage. Replacing the starter pulley is a repair that you can do yourself, and I'm going to show you how.
Hi, I'm Mark Socha.
Do-it-yourself repairs like these are easier than you might think. From lawn machines to cordless drills, kitchen mixers,
Outdoor grills.
our how-to videos walk you through each repair from start to finish. So doing it yourself means never having to do it alone.
Let's get started.
We'll begin by removing the rear motor cover. Next, I'll remove the shaft and handle assembly from the motor. Next, I'll remove the clutch drum. If I try to rotate the screw that secures the clutch drum, it'll just rotate the entire engine. So what I need to do is keep the piston from rotating. And to do that, I'll remove the spark plug and insert a piece of rope to bind up the piston in the cylinder. The rope will take up the gap between the piston and the top of the cylinder, so there's no room for it to move. With the piston bound, now I can unscrew the clutch drum screw. Now remove the clutch plates. They're threaded onto the spindle. Usually you can remove them by placing a screwdriver out on the groove on the edge and striking with a hammer. And I'll repeat the process with the second ring. Now remove the 4 screws that secure the housing and starter assembly to the rest of the motor. Now begin disassembling the starter. First, I'll remove the starter handle from the starter rope. I'll go ahead and tie a knot in the rope so the rope can't extend back into or recoil back into the starter. I'll go ahead and untie the knot in the rope. If you can't untie the knot, it is okay to go ahead and cut it off. And this one's going to be kind of stubborn, so I will just cut it. Now remove the handle from the rope, and I need to take the tension off the starter spring. To do that, I'll just let the rope go inside the starter. With the tension removed from the starter spring, now I can remove the starter pulley. I'll remove the screw securing the baffle plate. Again, don't attempt to do this if you have not removed the tension from the spring. Now I can pull the starter pulley away from the housing. I want to be careful that I don't take the spring with it, otherwise you'll have to recoil that spring. Now remove the rope from the starter pulley. Here I have our new starter pulley. Before I install the pulley, I'll remove the top half of the assembly. as well as the soft start spring. Now install the starter pulley back into the starter housing, aligning the slot on the pulley with the tab on the spring. Now tension the pulley spring. You want to keep a firm grip on the pulley as you do this, because if it slips out of your hand, it can give you a nasty cut. I just simply wind up the starter in a clockwise motion. I'll coil this up almost as far as it'll go. Okay, right there's as far as it'll go. I'm going to back it up until that starter rope is in line with the eyelet that the rope passes through. I'll thread the starter rope through the opening in the pulley. I'll pull that through. I'll then tuck the knot inside of the pulley. Now rotate the starter around. I'll go ahead and tie a knot in the rope. Now I'll allow the rope to recoil back in up to the knot. I'll continue to keep pressure on the pulley assembly as I replace the soft start spring and the top half of the pulley. Now install the baffle plate and secure it with the screws. Now reinstall the starter handle. I'll thread the rope through the handle, tie a knot, and pull the knot back into the top of the handle. And I'll finish up with the starter by removing the knot that we tied in the rope earlier. And then I'll allow the rope to recoil into the starter housing. Now I can place the starter housing assembly back onto the engine. And I'll go ahead and secure it with the screws. This top screw on the carburetor side also secures the throttle cable. So I want to make sure I get that back in place. Now I can go ahead and reassemble the clutch assembly. I'll start with the large washer, followed by the clutch rings. You'll notice on each clutch ring there's an indent on one side, and that should face out or towards the shaft. Rotate these in place. They don't need to be super tight. They'll actually tighten themselves as you use the trimmer. But I will tighten them up as much as I can. And now the clutch drum. Now I can remove the rope from the cylinder and reinstall the spark plug. Now I'll reattach the throttle cable. Now reassemble the shaft assembly to the engine. This plate goes in between the two assemblies. Now I'll thread the engine into the shaft and make sure that the shaft aligns with the clutch drum on the engine. Once in place, I'll secure it with the screws. Now realign the fuel tank with the front bumpers and reinstall the rear cover. Be sure to check back often for new videos and expert advice. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up